Are you ready?
Starting now?
Now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
But
you're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
La, 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 la.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And Mike just said, is it still today? Because it is, I guess, whatever day it is, it's still today, right? But
sure.
This is, I think, by far, this has to be the latest that we've recorded. It's almost 11 p.m. real time, and by real time we mean Eastern time because
right.
Mike's so goddamn special that the only time that matters is where he lives. So
now I've explained this to you before. It's the time that New York is, Washington D.C. You know, the important shit.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
I'm fine with it. I've bowed to your delusions.
And they're plenty.
But I've accepted that over the years, and I like to fuck with you. But I do. Right. I literally in our texts and all that time, I always refer to it as real time now. So because I don't want to confuse you or anything. So
I appreciate that because I'm easily confused.
But yeah, so you went to a baseball game, but I think I
went to 2 baseball games.
Oh, tonight you did. Okay, well, do tell.
Well, they ran a special. My Detroit Tigers are in town here in Cleveland, and they ran a special for last night's game. It was like $12 for an upper reserve seat. So Wednesday night, I said, what the hell? I'm going to go Thursday night. Well, we had some thunderstorms roll through, so they postponed the game, and it was a doubleheader today. So I went to, most of both games. Cool. I got there at about the bottom of the third, the first game, and I booked out of there at the top of the 8th of the second game.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. So I was basically at the ballpark for about 5.5 hours. Right.
Well, and I knew you mentioned when we had talked, because we talked briefly last night about it, and again, Mike had said, "Do you mind recording late?" And I'm like, "Fuck, man, I got nothing to do." So that's kind of the cool part about number one. Not that I don't have a life, but I mean, I plan for both of us do. We plan, this is what we do on Friday nights, and do it a little bit later. I mean, all it's going to do is kick my bedtime off a little bit, but I got nothing to fucking do tomorrow. So I mean, I don't really care. And plus, we care about everyone, so we wanted to get the episode out on time. Is that
right?
I couldn't even get that out.
I know, yeah. We care about some people, and we care about this thing sort of. So what the hell? Here we are. You fuckers better appreciate it.
It's funny. I had a meeting with Elise today from the Sober Curator. So because she's helping she gave me some advice on setting up some of the optimization for the websites, and it's a meeting we were supposed to have when I was up in Beaver Dam when my car broke down that day.
Right.
But the other thing that obviously we wanted to talk about was the us becoming curators. Obviously part of their thing. So that's definitely going to happen. I know we had talked about it briefly with her when she was on, but that we confirmed that today. So she's going to get us some information, and just so we can get basically we got to do little write-ups, a little bit about us, and then
Right.
we'll be listed as curators on their website, and they'll be pulling episodes from us and posting those, and we can contribute some other content. But to her point, the whole Sober Curator website is she considers it to be service work. And, I mean, it'll be good for us from the exposure standpoint. And she knows that. I mean, we talked about that, this cross posting back and forth.
Sure.
But on top of that too, it's another opportunity for us, to be a part of, something.
Yeah,
So it's,
right.
I just think it's going to be cool, but, nothing really out of the ordinary we have to do. Like I said, she said with most of her podcast curators, because I think there's 3 other podcasts on there. I could be wrong, maybe only 2, but
Right.
she does that. She grabs, she'll let us know, which episode she wants to grab, or if we want to say, hey, this one we really enjoyed. Can you grab that one this month or whatever it is? And
Mm-hmm.
then she'll do that. So it's just, it's cool. We get to, again, be part of again. So it's cool.
Right. Yeah. All right. More
But,
stuff to do.
yeah. You know what? I mean, honestly, it won't cause either one of us a lot of extra work. It'll cause
Mm-hmm.
you 0 work except for what you do on here. unless
I
you
could
want
do
to,
that.
unless you want to do something extra. But
Yeah,
she said,
who fucking knows?
well, and she had said, she's like, if there's something that we want to write about, talk about, whatever the case is, or,
Mm-hmm.
let's say if you run across a recovery book or something like that, or a movie that you want to suggest, that sort of thing,
Gotcha.
nothing bigger out of the ordinary. But what made me think about it was, when I was laughing about caring about people, we were talking back and forth with, she was talking about the website and, certain people. She's just kind of like, you know what, fuck it. If you don't like what I'm doing, that's fine. You guys
Right.
don't have to be, not us, but, in general,
Right.
people.
Yeah.
She's like, just, don't visit our site, don't read our shit type of thing.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, we're kind of the same way. And,
Exactly. Move right along.
yeah, well, to begin with, obviously. And again, I told her I was concerned about statistics and ups and downs, blah, blah, blah. And then finally, we just got to the point where, like, fine, fuck it. If you don't want to listen to us, don't fucking listen to us.
Right.
And what she said, she's like, yeah, she goes, you guys have that kind of like that irreverent vibe, when it comes about. And I'm in my head, I'm like, that's a great fucking compliment. I like that. Thank you.
Yes.
Irreverent vibe. I should add that to our website.
Sure.
We have an irreverent vibe. But I mean, we actually have. I think we got a lot to talk about and do tonight. But first of all, this episode is the end. If we're flipping around after, after basically 26 episodes, this is the end of season 3. So,
Ooh.
yeah, we got through, episode 78. We're now, again, we'll flip over to, and the whole thing was season 4, and we talked about it with other people. Nothing fucking changes.
No.
I made some changes last week and this week, just with some of our posts. And I mean, literally, I thought about it for a minute. I'm like, ooh, I should wait. And I'm like, fuck, I ain't waiting for nothing. I'm like, I had this idea on what I wanted to do with changing a couple of the things with our posts. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm just changing them, so.
Okay.
But yeah, so next week we have our friend Mike from Sober Press on. So he will be the first episode for season 4.
Cool.
Yeah. But I know that obviously we want to do a reading. We can talk about the 8th step because we haven't talked about that yet. We've got our buddy Dan to talk about. We got your radio gig to talk about. And I got I've got quite a few things, just notes written down. But what do you want to go through first? You want to get your I've said it again. Fuck me. You know what? Yeah, let's get this fucking reading out of the way. Why don't we
get
do that
it out
first?
of the way, right? So I can close my eyes again.
Right.
Because I'm literally sitting here with my eyes closed. I'm talking. It's been a long damn day.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? I was sitting here. I got home from the game and I'm setting my stuff up and grab my book and I'm flipping around and I'm looking for something and nothing's jumping out, or it's something I'm pretty sure I've already read, whatever. You know what? Today's was pretty good, so I'm going to read today's.
Nice.
Yeah, August 18th. Resourceful and energetic as a street dog. Not all of the things we learned in our active addiction years need to be gotten rid of. We learn to be clever and resourceful. We learn determination. Just ask anyone who stood in our way of getting high. In recovery, We take these qualities and let them be guided by spiritual principles. We now use our determination to heal old hurts and build new relationships. The mistakes we made during those years now become our teachers and guides. As the program teaches us, we will not wish to shut the door on our past, for in our past are many diamonds covered in mud. We need to find these diamonds and use the program to shape and polish them into a new story of hope and gratitude. Prayer for the day. Higher power, direct my street dog energy into doing good. Help me to stay close to the principles of the program and their healing powers. Today's action. This has actions because this is a program of action. Today, I will list the parts of my using days that I can use to build a new life. I will recover that which is usable and let go of the rest.
And you know what's funny? I posted that one this morning. Okay,
Did you?
well, here's the thing though, because every once in a while, it's not that the God grant me ones don't like speak to me. I guess if I want to put it
Mm-hmm.
that way,
Yeah.
but a lot of times that, and again, I'm on the mobile version, so part of the page, it's the readings cut in half, and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't lay right for me to do a screenshot. Every once in a while, if I feel ambitious, I'll actually do
Mm-hmm.
two screenshots and then do two pictures on it, but I'd rather get it in one shot.
Mm-hmm.
But today it cut perfectly because it's kind of a long reading, but it fit
Mm-hmm.
perfectly, and I loved it. I love the street dog thing. I wrote down
Yeah.
clever and resourceful,
Mm.
building new relationships, and I forgot about the past diamonds covered in mud. I like that too, and I just wrote that down. But what it made me think of is this morning when I was reading it,
Mm-hmm.
it made me think of everything that we've been talking about, over I don't know how many episodes, as far as
Right.
all these past things now being assets and things that we can use,
Mm-hmm.
to help people. And that's
Right.
come up so many times over the last couple of months with guests on our own.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a couple of articles and things like that, I mentioned I was doing that I put that in there too, because it just fits with whatever I'm writing about.
Right.
And I really like it. It was a great reading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It worked.
Plus, well, I mean, plus I just like the street dog thing too, because
Yeah.
that's,
Right.
I don't know, it's something that a lot of people talk about, and have talked about it over the years, as a fact and we used to joke about it. Well, if your alcohol was out there, you'd go get it, or if you had to
Right.
walk 3 miles for this, you'd go get it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. Right.
and it's taking that old determination, just
Mm-hmm.
changing the focus, and chasing what our little street dog now, chasing good shit rather than nasty shit.
Exactly.
But yeah, diamonds covered in mud. I like that.
Right. Yeah. And of course, if I would have written it, it would have been diamonds covered in shit. But yes.
Well, you know what? I like the covered in mud too, but the shit made me laugh, so I like that. I like that. So, anything else on the reading itself? I mean, it was a good one. I mean, I like I said, I posted it, but
Yeah.
doing the reading on here, I think is good. But any other thoughts or things on that?
my my determination is really low right now, but yes.
I
Yeah, exactly. Taking, again, I like the part of, not everything that we were was, we certainly used it in the wrong way, but it's not all bad. We've got to remember that we're generally pretty good people. We just used, again, our gifts and our talents in the wrong way, and we just need to turn it around and use them in the right way.
Yeah, use our powers for good now rather than evil.
Right. Great power comes great responsibility.
Right. Yeah. Somebody who that sound like that came from a movie.
Spitterman.
Is it okay? I figured that. Is that like that? I know that came from some sort of movie, but
Yep.
So what do you think? Do you wanna talk about the step real quick? I mean, it's again, we haven't, it's middle of August, but we haven't talked about it yet. So
We have not.
do you have the actual written, the whole
I
written thing, how it
mean,
says in there? Can you
there's a book here in my hand, and
That's
if
what I
I
was saying,
go
if you can
to the
page back.
beginning of August, because every month in this book, the first day they cover the step, and there it is. Yes, yes, yes. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Step 8 of Alcoholics Anonymous.
All right. So, I think that, well, I guess the first question that I have about that, did you actually put pen to paper with that step, or did you just kind of know who you needed to, and then as it came along, wrote people down, or what? And and I'm asking because I didn't necessarily write out a complete list. So I'm kind of
Right.
telling on myself first. So
Mm-hmm. I took I took pen to paper and I wrote down everyone I've ever met. Those words exactly. I didn't write the names. I know the fucking names. But
right,
yeah, seriously, yeah, everyone I've ever come in contact with in my life, in one way or another, I used them. I did, you know, certainly to different degrees, but yeah, every person that I ever came in contact with prior to getting sober, yeah, I took from them one way or another. And yeah, there are definitely more prominent names on that list, but yeah, and I knew that. The thing about the eighth step that I really liked from going to that step group I used to go to that I went to for like 5-6 years
right,
every Saturday. Um, when we did the eighth step, a big part of it that I learned in that group and certainly incorporated in my working of the eighth step is forgiving everyone, everyone. The people that harmed me, right? Because we have to become willing to forgive the people that we harmed. Um, become willing to, yeah. But the people that harmed me. Part of working the eighth step was forgiving the people that harmed me. So because everyone I came in contact with, I harmed.
right.
So even the people that harmed me, I had to be willing to forgive them and had to forgive them um, one way or another. And I did. That was a big part of working that eighth step because until I did that, there was no way I could start working step 9. Again, one of those steps I have to work every day, one day at a time for the rest of my life. That I will never finish that 9th step, which we'll get into next month at some point. But
Right. It might be about the same time because we've got,
right.
or you know what? No, we can do that. We might be able to do that one early because we've got 3 guests
Yeah,
in a row in
the Labor
September.
Day.
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyhow, but no. So I mean, so forgiving the other people, and that's something that I don't remember. I don't remember if I grasped,
Hmm. Right.
um, held on to that concept,
Grabbed a
understood.
hold of.
There you go. It grabbed a hold of that. Why couldn't I say grasped? That
I
sounds
don't know.
stupid.
Right.
Road. But I don't know that was clear to me to begin with. As
Oh,
far
it
as,
certainly wasn't for me.
yeah, and I
No,
just
I probably learned that, year and a half, 2 years sober, somewhere around there. I went, oh, all right.
well, in the only reason I say that, the maybe the only inkling I had is I think I remember people talking about, obviously us forgiving ourselves before we could forgive other people,
Hmm.
and that internal forgiveness, and that was the one thing, along with not understanding why people were relapsing. I
Hmm.
had this whole shame and guilt about being drunk at my dad's funeral,
Right.
and I had to come to the realization that, basically me getting right with that was realizing that he would have forgiven me. I would have been able to make
Mm.
amends to him, and he would have understood, not condoned, blah blah blah,
Right. But yeah,
which
yeah,
gave.
certainly would understand because he was one of us.
Right. And it
Right.
would have, and that actually gave me, even though he was dead at the time,
Hmm.
it gave me permission to forgive myself for my behavior, even though I wasn't
Right.
justifying it, and then move
Right.
move move on with that, and
Absolutely.
it was critical because that's kind of part of it. But and I'm trying to think but back to the point of writing things down. I remember kind of being in that mode where I should write all this shit down. But I mean, there's all these, like I said, I knew all the people, especially the immediate ones. You get
Sure.
this string of people, this family, these close friends, and everyone else that's like, you can see and touch all these people, and those are the easy ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other ones is that, and you and I had talked about that before, but it happened with an ex-employer that I had that I ended up going back to work for. It's happened to people
Mm-hmm.
that I just run across,
Right.
and as soon as you see them, you're like, fuck,
Mm.
in not in a bad way, but you're like, it pops into your head, and you're like, well, that one just
Right.
got that person just made my list of my eighth step, and now I need to
Mm-hmm.
have a conversation with them.
Right. Now
So
I got to work in line with them. Yep.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it
I got to
happens.
clean some shit up.
Yeah, and it happens instantaneously. And
Mm-hmm.
there was a couple of people. My daughter's mom, my ex-wife, when she had reached out to me after I moved back to Wisconsin. So you figure that I had no contact with her for 3 years and 3-4 months.
Right.
And she reached out to me, and I don't know if I said it on the phone or if it was she texted me or whatever it was, but the whole thing, it was a nice text. It was a nice initial interaction that we had, and I told her, I said, I owe you a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and I ended up, I know I talked to her, and I think I sent her an email and just kind of explained everything, obviously, just detailed everything out, and she thanked me for it.
Right.
But all of that too is that I had to take a look at, and there's some people that rightfully so, and I know this is talked about in meetings. We have been individually, even though we fucked up a lot of people's lives, there's
Mm-hmm.
people that did us wrong too. It just is
Right.
what it is. But to your point is that it doesn't really matter. We got to take care of our shit, clean up our shit. Even if that person doesn't throw an apology back at us, we've got
Oh
to
yeah.
forgive, right?
Oh yeah, right, exactly. Well, yeah, that's all their side of the street. If they throw an apology back at us, it doesn't fucking matter if they do or not. I still have to forgive them for the bullshit that they did to me, and at the same token, it doesn't matter if they forgive me for the bullshit I did to them. I'm going to apologize and not do it to them anymore, and yeah, move on.
Right.
Yeah.
And just for anyone that and I know that everyone, not everyone that listens to us, we're 12-step people, and it's cool, but if
Right.
you are, and you're new to this whole thing, or you've been around a little bit and you just haven't done this eighth and ninth step, and they are kind of
Mm-hmm.
intertwined to an extent,
Right.
but a piece of, and we do give advice, so I'm just going to say a piece of advice here, just as advice based on experience. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make your list with any expectation that you're going to get an apology from fucking anyone. Okay. Just
No,
don't go
no,
in. Yeah. Because if you do that, I promise you, this is the one thing we can 100% guarantee: you will be disappointed by somebody or many people.
right, of course.
and then there's going to be a resentment in there, which I have written down on my list. So maybe we'll get to that tonight later.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, if you go into your A step when you're making that list with any expectations, with the exception of, I'm making this list and I'm going to clean up my shit. That's all you
Mhm.
need to do. If you do anything beyond that, you're going to be fucking disappointed.
Yep. Yeah,
So.
that's not what it's right. It's not for you, asshole.
Wait, what?
Because remember, the root of our troubles is selfishness and self-centeredness.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
thought this was all. God damn it, let me write that down.
Mm,
This is, you said asshole, right?
I did.
Asshole. Okay, got it. I just wanted to get the whole statement. This is not about
Right.
you, asshole. Is that
Hmm.
asshole is not with a WH, it's HOL.
It's HOL. It is the whole.
It's the whole hole.
It's the whole hole.
I don't know why it fucking made me laugh. Maybe because it's late. The whole hole.
Yes.
It's the whole hole. Sounds like a snack treat.
Mm-hmm.
But
Chocolate
yes.
covered.
I knew that was coming. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. But so the main thing with the A step, and that was my main question, because I
Mhm.
don't think that you and I had ever talked about whether or not that either one of us physically wrote anything down, and
Mark.
I don't think I did. I think I was about to, but then I'm like, I fucking know.
Mm.
You know, which
Uh-huh.
which you know goes against any sponsor's going to tell you to take pen to paper. And I did take pen to paper with my fourth, my
Mm-hmm.
fourth step, because that's hugely important. And not that
Right.
this isn't. I'm not trying to minimize it, but neither one of us did, and somehow it still
Right.
worked out.
Well, again, I did. I just wrote down everyone I've ever come in contact with.
Right. Yeah, I did. Okay, so you one up me on that one because I don't even think I did that. But yeah, the other thing too is that we talked about it before, but yeah, it never ends because there will be people that you're going to run across at some point. And I
Mhm.
don't remember the last person, that I had run across in recent. It's probably been at least a couple of years, I think, since I've run across somebody that I've had. It might even be longer than that.
Mhm.
That I had to have a conversation with. That I hadn't seen or heard from or had the ability to speak to yet. But
Right.
it can happen anywhere. You can be fucking anywhere and just run into somebody and be like, "Fuck me, I got to talk to that person."
Mhm. Yeah. But that's just it. We don't run away from it
Right.
today, which is nice
Right.
because yeah, you walk up to it and you take care of it and you move the fuck on. But yeah, you don't run from it and it's not left unresolved.
Right.
It may not be resolved the way you want to. It probably won't be, but that's okay too. It's
Right.
still a resolution, and then you get to move on. Get to walk away and go, well, I did what I could do, and that's all I could do, and now it's done, and I'm on with my lovely little life.
I've just tried to make my corner of the world a better place, and
That's right.
it didn't quite work out with that person. But hey, what the fuck, right?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, and I know we're laughing and joking about it a little bit, but
Mm,
it's a hugely important thing and step that needs to be done,
yeah.
and taken seriously and be done as just like in all the rest of them,
Yeah.
to the
Right.
best of your
There are
ability.
12 steps, and that
Yeah.
is one of the 12. And yes, exactly.
But yeah,
Yeah.
to your best of your ability and as thoroughly as possible. And
Mm-hmm.
you can have a makeup. You can go back and add somebody to it. So it's certainly not a one and done type of situation. So
Right. Yeah. But again, just, yeah. I mean, yes, you can write all the names down, whatever, and you're going to forget some of them. That's kind of why I did it the way I did it.
right,
It was like, I'm not going to remember every name. It doesn't matter. Just, I have to absolutely internalize and realize that every person I've ever come in contact with, little 4-year-old kid, I was taking things from people. I know that I was. So,
right,
I realize that yeah, that's, that's the way I live my life. And the only way I'm going to not live my life that way is to realize that's the way I live my life. It's, yeah, every person I met, I used one
right,
way or another. It's just been real small stuff, insignificant. They probably didn't even know, and they don't care, and it's fine. But I need to realize that I was a taker, and I can't be that way anymore.
right. And I mean, as funny as that was that you said that and did it that way. I mean,
Mm,
it's probably the most intelligent way to do it. Just fucking everyone.
yeah, everybody, right?
And just who did you harm? Everyone. No, really.
Everybody.
Who? No,
No,
everyone.
really, everybody.
That one. Yep. That one. Yep.
Yep. Hmm. Yeah.
But no, I mean it's just like I said, it's funny, but yeah, it's serious business as they say, right?
Right. And kind of like, the reading, I mean, yeah, yes, I hurt everybody to some degree, but I also help people and I did good things too. And I've got to remember that as well. But again, the big key for me on the 8th step was forgiving the people that hurt me, because, if there's anybody in my life that hurt me and I don't forgive them for it, then I'm not doing a complete 8th step. I'm not. It's hugely important. No matter, some person that really fucking hurt you and really, whatever, man, touched you when you were a little kid, you gotta fucking forgive them. You've got to say, look, they had problems. They try to empathize with them a little bit, no matter how fucked up they are.
Right.
That is the key for me of the 8th step. Yeah, yes, we have to become willing to, to try to fix it, but we also have to be willing to forgive them and have to forgive them. Otherwise, it doesn't work for me.
Well, and I think people told us really early on, when you're mad at somebody that did something to you, they always
Mhm.
tell us to pray for them because
Right.
that's because they've got they've got their own problems, they got their own quote
Hmm.
unquote sickness or whatever the deal is,
Right.
and that was the weirdest fucking thing though in the beginning when they're like, when you're pissed off at somebody and I'll never forget that again. I've talked about it probably 5 or 7 times on here, but you
Hmm.
know getting us all riled up and who do you hate? Who's this? Who's that?
Right.
And you're like, yeah, I'll pray for me. Like, what the
Right.
fuck? But
Yeah. Wish that their lives get better.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's crazy that works.
Mm.
but
Yeah. Right.
but it does. I mean,
But it does.
yeah,
Right. Yeah. Again, I don't need to understand this shit. I don't need to feel it in my heart. I got to fucking do it.
right. Yeah. Well, and yeah, like I said, it took me 9 months to to come to grips with some of this. Well, not some of it, but the simplicity of this whole thing.
Hmm.
And it was hellish. I was racking my brain and fucking tearing myself up inside until I realized that it just some things it just is what it is. And we got
Hmm.
to accept it for that. So,
Right.
but yeah. So what else? Anything else on the? I like the fact. I'm glad you brought up as far as forgiving everyone because
Hmm.
that I think is huge, and I would not have thought about that to talk about. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Anything else on that or?
No, again, that is the key for me.
Okay.
Again, not about me. This shit is not about me. It's about other people making their lives better, and somehow by trying to make other people's lives better, my life gets better. I still don't understand it and I don't have to understand it. I just know it fucking works.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, that AA math, right?
Yep.
Keep giving shit away and keep getting more back in
Yeah.
return, which is
Doesn't
again
fucking add up, but it doesn't
not,
have to.
not even one little bit. So 1 week from tonight also is your radio gig. I had that written down also,
Yep.
and I've been posting about obviously that this week. Every
Mm-hmm.
couple of days I've been doing that. Now I'll continue to do it. We've got just as a quick reminder, keep an eye on Instagram. It is also listed on the sponsor page on our website, so a link
Mm-hmm.
to the radio station. But go over that one more time, because it's a week from today. So
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, it's kind of why I don't really get into it until I'll start actually tomorrow posting shit because there's all summer long there's been guests. I'm actually the last one from the Radiothon that donated to the radio station. It is WJCU here in Cleveland. It is the John Carroll University radio station. It's community radio. It's community sponsored and supported, and I'm a part of the community, and so I help to support them. They have a radiothon in February. People call in and donate and get t-shirts and hoodies and hats and keychains and bottle openers and whatever. And if you donate $100, you get to do an hour of the show. For every $100 you get to do an hour. So I'm doing 2 hours. Yeah, and I've done it. This is my I think 5th time.
right,
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, and 4th for sure, but I'm pretty sure 5th. And yeah, it's just again part of the community. I've talked about it before. Literally the first couple of weeks I was at the Keating Center. It was a Friday night and I turned on the radio and I was looking for something to listen to because I was up in my head and needed to get the fuck out of it. And, I was flipping around and, heard, like I said, either the New York Dolls and then the Dead Boys, or the Dead Boys and then the New York Dolls. Those are bands for you kids out there and you old people, because nobody knows who the fuck they are. And but they're two of my absolute favorite bands. And I was like, what the fuck is this, man? And that was Adam and Andy's, Adam and Max's radio show, Music to Break Things By, which I just listened to every week after that, pretty much every week for years till they went off the air. But the show before it is the Metal on Metal radio show. Bill Peters has been doing it since 1982. It is the longest running heavy metal radio show in the world, and I get to be a part of it next week. So it's 7:30, WJCU.org, the TuneIn app. But you go to their website and you can live stream 7:30 Eastern time. I will be hitting the airwaves and playing all of my horrible music for 2 hours. You have to listen because I paid for it.
Yeah, but it's again, I always like the fact of, and I'm glad you told the story again about how you even ran across the radio station because,
Yeah.
everything that you say and be a part of the community and all that stuff, and I mean that's all cool, but I really like the fact that it has its roots in your very 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 early recovery, and I like that.
Yep.
I just think that's cool. So
yeah, it was one of the first. Again, all up in my head, and I'm fucking there in the Keating Center week, 2 weeks, and just a goddamn bundle of raw nerves, and got soothed by some horrible rock and roll, and it made me feel a little normal for an hour or so that night, and and continued to help me in my early recovery realize that I can still be myself and still rock and roll and still be myself, but be a new version of myself. It was helpful,
right.
if that makes any sense.
What makes sense to me,
Right.
And that was a thing that, like, when you just said, kind of made you feel normal. I remember even like when we started, excuse me, like out looking for work and stuff like that, and
Right.
I remember even like I took a bus a couple of times to go, 15-minute drive it would have been, and it took me fucking hour and a half because I had to take, 7 buses around
Right.
Cleveland to get to it. But it was cool. And then I remember taking the rapid and going downtown and, just being out. And I mean, it was summertime, so it's nice out and I'm downtown, and that's when I went to the meeting at the central office and things like that. And, when even if you've gone through and you're trying to get sober and stuff like that, but you haven't been, and we were not in a lockdown facility, so we could, if we wanted to walk out the gates, we could. I mean,
Right.
there's nothing holding us there, but there definitely was a structure to it that we were here and there and had to be here and there type of thing. So when we started to get that freedom like that again. And same thing that we always talk about. I was 41, Mike was 43. We're full grown adults, at least by age. And we've been, I don't want to say locked down, but kind of isolated in this place for a few months.
Sure.
And just these little things, getting on the rapid, walking around downtown, going someplace by myself,
Right.
or just sitting in your bunk in the Keating Center, listening to music like that. I mean, it's and I think that even though I didn't realize it at the time, maybe you did or maybe you didn't, but I think that there was probably that first glimpses of that, just that gratitude, whether I wanted to, admit it or not. I was grateful for little things like that,
Right. Oh yeah. Yes, I was grateful and didn't even realize that's what I was feeling.
Right. And I mean, you put that exactly, that's exactly what I meant. I just didn't word that properly. But I mean, to this day, I forget to be grateful. So how the fuck would I have known that I was grateful back then? But
right.
But that's literally what it was. And, I'll get those feelings every once in a while now when I'm on, I'll be driving up to Appleton or driving here or there. And you start looking around, you're like, you feel this freedom, and it's nothing out of the ordinary.
Right.
I don't feel, locked down in my life at the moment, but you know what I mean? It's just these moments that we notice now that I never would have noticed until I get sober,
Yeah, shit, man. I'm walking around downtown, man. Sunny day today, and it's I don't walk around downtown very often. It's just not a part of my life. It's literally 10 minutes from my house, but I just, I'm going to work and doing my shit and whatever. So, but yeah, walking downtown today, and there's actually Cleveland sort of coming back. There's like people down there, and
Right.
it's almost like a real city. Um, yeah, and it was nice. It was really, it was pleasant, and it felt good. And those little, I felt grateful, and probably didn't realize it at that moment, but yes, right. It was nice.
Yeah, and it's cool. And I talked about that with people, or talked with people about that. People talk about sunrises, sunsets,
Mm-hmm.
leaves blowing around in the fall, whatever it is. It's simple little shit like that I never would have noticed. That I sit there, I'm like, or Heidi is always the one who used to say, she's like, look at that fucking moon. you know,
Yep.
and then you see people joking about that. Did you look at that fucking moon?
Right.
And I'm like, holy fuck, that's a cool fucking moon,
Yep.
I've gone through looking back at old pictures and stuff like that. I've literally like stopped my car at certain times and taken pictures of the moon, or the sunset or something like that. So
Right.
yeah, it's weirdness that I never would have even thought about, lit 14 years ago,
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, but you know what? Why don't we? What do you think? Break time?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Well, stay tuned for more of this, whatever this is, right after this word from our sponsor.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature.
Hi
And,
there.
yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have two websites now. So
Two?
we wanted two websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com. And we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. But from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
At least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. .com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
Did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right, everyone. Welcome back. And try not to laugh. Yeah, we'll go back to whatever this is.
Right.
Yeah, that is true, though. Whatever this is, because who fucking knows whatever this is? Did we say it already? It's fucking late, man.
Yeah, I was about to say it's like an hour past my bedtime. So right.
Yeah, it was so funny though, because I got done doing my work and stuff, and I went and grabbed my pizza, and I was kind of taking my time and shit, because I mean, obviously I had extra time, but I ate, and then I was doing some work, fucking around with the websites and shit like that, and then I don't know, all said and done, I'm looking at it's like 8:30, and I'm like, or no, it was like 8 o'clock or whatever it was, and I'm like, I still got plenty of time, so I'm like, I went outside for a minute, I came back in, and I'm like, watch a little bit of TV. But usually I'll kick back and I'll sit on my bed, just got the lamp on, not the overhead light on. And I'm like, I ain't doing any of that shit. Cause it's that time of night where I'm going to start getting fucking comfortable. I'm like, ooh,
Right.
I'll go grab a drumstick too. And then I'm sitting here and that's what I do. Again, it's a late night thing, I'm sitting there eating a drumstick, sitting in my chair watching TV, and I had my phone sitting right on my desk here when you had texted, and that's why I responded so quickly. It was right next to me. I'm like, man, I gotta fucking get up because I've been sitting here too long watching TV. But yeah, if you can't tell everyone, we're kind of creatures of habit. But as soon as you texted me and all that stuff, I'm like, I'm fucking ready to roll now. We're good.
Right.
We're good. So what about you want to talk about whether we want to talk about it, I think we should. So our buddy Dan, and we've referred to him before on here and talked about him before. Chicken Dan, if anyone remembers. He's a guy that we knew from pretty much from day one. A guy that came into the Keating Center and did group and all that stuff, and remained a very, very, very dear friend of ours. He had an illness that he was dealing with for a number of years, kind of the COPD thing, like our mom had. And he went through some ups and downs about a month ago, thought he was coming out of it. But what was it, a week ago, Thursday, that he had passed away? Was that it? Or
Yeah,
I thought that
sounds right.
Yeah, because it was because I was going up to, I think I was going up to Appleton, or no, it was when they were when they went to Lollapalooza that day. And so whatever it was recent, within the last couple of weeks, and So yeah, we both, Mike and I, got a text from another really, really good friend of ours that he had passed, and they did the funeral really quick because you were out of town with Chris for your anniversary,
right? Yeah.
In the service, the viewing was on that Sunday, and then the service
was Monday.
Yeah, and then they were
the actual funeral, the burial, and whatever. Was Monday, which I missed that. I did stop by the funeral home Sunday when we got back. Hung out for a little bit. Didn't really know anybody there. I was kind of surprised about that. It was mostly his family and stuff. Chris and I went and hung out for a little bit and looked at all the pictures and stuff, young Dan and all that good stuff. And, it was, Dan. Dan was, Dan did, he did a book study at the Keating Center when we were there, Tuesday nights. And, it was funny because that was like kind of one of our Tuesdays were kind of a free day. We could go to any meeting that we wanted to. We had to go to a meeting, but we could go outside. And, it wasn't like one of the mandatory ones in-house or one of the ones we had to go to. It was a free day. We could go to any meeting we wanted to. And personally, I stayed in, because God knows we were always looking for an excuse to get the hell out of there.
Right.
But Dan's book study was really good, and I really liked it. I really liked him and the way that he, interpreted stuff in the book and whatever. And so I hung out. Like most guys are like, fuck that, I'm getting the hell out of here. And I went, I'd love to as well, but this is good. I'm staying in. And I did for whatever, hell, I think pretty much when we were halfway the whole time, the 3 months. And then after we went 3/4, I still came back and did the Tuesday book study.
And that was when you say book study, just so everyone knows, that was the big book study that he did. And I stayed there too, because once I became house father, I know that I was responsible on Tuesday nights. I had to stay in. And I remember that part of it, but I didn't mind it though, because of his group,
right.
And exactly so the thing of it is, and once again, if the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm just saying that for folks that might not know what it is, we talk about it, but it's basically the Alcoholics Anonymous Bible, I guess, if you want to put it that way.
Right.
The instruction book, the owner's manual,
the textbook, right?
the textbook. It is the textbook, but there were certain individuals that could break it down and keep it real, and put it in terms that not only were interesting, but also helped us understand what the words meant and put it in
Mm-hmm.
realistic terms. And that's what
Right.
Dan had and I'll just call it a gift, for being able
Yeah.
to do that. And he also did groups, and he was the one that had other people might have said it, but I remember him talking about the higher power thing. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
him standing up in group, and we were all so freaking new. And he just said to everyone, he's like, if you don't have a higher power, he's like, I have one. He goes, you can borrow mine until you find one of your own. And I thought that was so fucking cool because
Yeah.
when he first said it, I'm like, well, that's fucking weird, but I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, this guy right there says I can borrow this intangible thing,
Right.
which I can't. I don't. There's no comprehension of my higher power to this day, and I
Mm-hmm.
know now that it doesn't fucking matter. But
Right.
um, once again, saying some shit like that was so damn simple.
Mm-hmm.
But he had his moments too. He didn't take any shit from people. Um,
No, he did not.
and I don't know if you were there it was a Tuesday night for the big book group.
Uh-huh.
And our friend Daryl was there, and we
Mm-hmm.
talked about Daryl, and he was the one that our friend that ended up drinking himself to death, but he admittedly couldn't grasp the first step. And
Mm-hmm.
he was at the big book study the one time, and he's going back and forth, and he's talking about this back and forth and saying that this sponsor this and that sponsor that. And I remember Dan telling him, he goes, you can go and talk to as many sponsors as you want. He goes, you're going to find somebody that's going to agree with you. He's going to be
Mm-hmm.
wrong,
Right.
but he goes, go ahead, go find somebody to agree with you. You will find that person, but he's going to be wrong. And I was just like, I remember Daryl's up just fucking pacing. Daryl's a big dude too. He was
Mm-hmm.
probably 6'3", 6'4", and
Yeah. Right.
I mean, he was an ex-fireman, right?
Right.
So he was a good sized dude, kind of had a commanding side to him, not mean, to anyone,
Mm-hmm.
but
Right.
loud and big.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Right.
Dan was, of normal stature and, whatever, but still, I just remember yeah, he didn't take any shit from people.
No, he did not. Right. Yeah. He was one of the first guys that was definitely comfortable in his own skin, one of those guys that was definitely attraction rather than promotion.
Right.
Yeah. 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 And his roommate was our friend John Henrock, who
Yep.
I ended up working with my first job in sobriety. I worked there for a year and a half, man, at that metal shop. But yeah, those guys were, I remember that they invited me to their house Labor Day that first year. So what, we were not even 6 months
Right.
sober.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They were having a cookout and blah, 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 just normal, regular life shit. And yeah, come on over and have some food, hang out. It's like, really? We could do that? Yes, you can. Get your ass over here and do just that. And I did. And it was the first social event that I went to. Yeah, those guys were just huge part of my early sobriety and huge part of my life. Dan, I actually picked up cigarettes for him for years on the road. I'd get them cheaper than you could get them in Cleveland, and he'd give me money and, go get me a carton, man. And I'd stop by every week and bring him a carton of cigarettes. I've actually still got a carton in my refrigerator, the last one that I got to take over to Tommy, his new roommate, probably this week sometime. But yeah, fuck, man. Yeah. But, he graduated,
Right.
Which, we always say, yeah, that's when you graduate this program. That's when you finish this program, is when you die sober. And he graduated.
Yep.
And I'm going to miss him. But, I'm grateful he got to be part of my life for the past 13 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just his last, because I had to look it up because I couldn't remember, but he hit 20.
Yeah.
20 years and whatever it was, May, April. I don't remember when his anniversary date is, but I did. I looked it up and it was 20 this year.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was actually it was November because it threw me November or December. It was the end of last year, I think. But
Yeah.
one
That
way or
sounds
the
right.
other, yeah, he hit 20 years and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, same thing. And I was talking to Kathy, our sister, and
Mm-hmm.
telling her about it. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," and whatever. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
because I remember, I mean, when So it happened on Thursday when they were at Lollapalooza, and then
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned to Kimmy either my daughter either that day or when I was up in Appleton, or no, it was that I think that next morning. I said, I may not be able to hit the baseball game that I went to last Thursday because I'm like, if the schedule the funeral, I'm like, I'm just thinking in my head it might fall that week. I said I'm going back,
Mm-hmm. Right.
but it happened so quickly. I mean, it was just no
Right.
way, I could have done it.
Mm-hmm.
But then when when I was telling Kathy about it and stuff like that, and she's like, oh my god, and she's like all getting up, all up, kind of, how she is too, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
feeling for
Mm-hmm.
us, but I think she had met
Right.
Dan. She
Sure.
probably met Dan at some point. But I
Oh,
said,
I'm
you know
sure she
what?
did. Yeah.
I'm like, I said, here's the thing. I'm like, he had, just like anything else, he had this thing for a while, and but he was a good
Mm-hmm.
dude, and all the things he did, and exactly what you just said. I'm like, man, I'm gonna miss him, but I said, when people die sober, good dudes or women,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, good people die
Right.
sober, it's so much different than any other passing,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Um,
It's almost well, yeah, it's like not a tragedy.
mhm,
Again, graduation, man.
right.
It's the best way to put it. They've done what they needed to do and moved on. Yeah. I mean, we're all gonna die. Hopefully when we die, people will go, guy was all right.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. That's all I can hope for.
I know, and I think you and I had talked about that briefly at one point, but I mean it's just it's such a different feeling, and I
Mm-hmm.
can't compare it to our mom. I mean, that's a parents
Right.
is a different story, but
Sure.
I mean, we've known way too many people that have died because of their alcohol or drug use,
Mm-hmm.
and died when they weren't sober. Um,
Right.
those ones fucking suck. I mean, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that goes without saying, but it's just that those are the super tough ones. But yeah, when you take somebody that, even somebody like Dan, that, I mean, such a huge influence on, I mean, not just us, but I mean, since we're
Mm-hmm.
just you and I talking here, I mean, he's such a
Right.
huge influence on the two of us. And all that he did, and remained a good friend, and was good, did so many good things for so many people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's, again, you put it the best way. I'm gonna miss him, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what else can we do? What else can we fucking ask for?
Right. Yeah. I got to hang out with the dude and,
Mhm.
and he made my life better. Cool.
Right. Well, and
Yeah.
the other thing that was really neat about him, and I'm sure you remember this too, that and he did this at, I think he did it at other meetings, but he used to do it at the Thursday night Keating Center meeting, the open meeting,
Mm-hmm. Right.
which I had and I'll just say, the pleasure of being the secretary of for a year.
Right.
I fucking loved that. It was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that was the biggest service position that I had. And when I say biggest, I don't mean that I was a big deal. It was
Right.
for me, it was the biggest honor that I had as far as a service position,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved it. But there's a preamble,
Right.
in to Alcoholics Anonymous, which basically tells us why we're here, why we're
Right.
part of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he could recite that,
Mm-hmm.
literally recite it by
Yeah.
memory and right
Right.
out the top of his head. So every week, that because he was part of that meeting too, he was part of the,
Right.
again, the group conscience, for
Mm-hmm.
all that's, he was always there.
Right.
But the lead in, we do our opening and introduce myself and whatever we did for our little opening, and then I'm like, okay, Dan, tell us why we're here. And he every
Mm-hmm.
week just, without missing a beat, just stand up and read that off.
Right.
It was fucking cool. Um,
Yep.
but that was one of the most fun parts.
Right.
Dan, why are we here? And he just, and then you start
Yep.
reading it. And again, if you've never read the AA preamble, just go ahead and read it. It's fun, because it makes that story have a little bit more meaning to it. But I don't know. Bottom line, he was a good fucking dude. Yeah, we're gonna miss him. So,
Yep. Exactly. So safe home, Dan. Chicken Dan.
Chicken Dan. Yep.
Right.
And that was because he worked at a particular fast food chicken restaurant for years, and
Uh-huh.
he got
Right.
different people got different names over the years, and he got Chicken Dan.
He got chicken. Well, because he would come straight from work to do the book study, and he'd still be in his Colonel Sanders uniform.
Oh fuck, I forgot about that.
Right. So I use Chicken Dan. Right. And I have to say, he managed like some big restaurants, hotels in his life. And that was just at the end, his last working, he was managing a KFC because, you know, it was close and it was a job. And yeah, but he managed some big shit. Man, we talked about that, you know,
Mhm.
all over the country, you know, Hilton and yeah, big stuff, man. You know, but he ended up, his last little job was managing a KFC.
Right. But yeah, I remember him listening to his story. Plus, he told us individual stories. But yeah, he
Sure.
was he was a big deal in the
He was.
hospitality industry. That's for damn sure. And yeah,
Mhm.
they'd move him around to different parts of the country, and you know, to
Right.
manage these places, and you know, kind of whip him into shape. And yeah,
Exactly.
he was kind of a big deal. So.
He was.
But yeah, it's. I figured I wrote that down, and you know, obviously made a note of that, and knew
Right.
that at some point, obviously, we wanted to talk about that. But yeah, he was. I'm just the only thing that and it's not really a regret, but I wish I would have been able to make it out there. But
Mhm.
again, it is what it is, and I understand that the family, however, whatever the reasoning behind it to get it done so quickly,
Right.
you know, I'm sure they had a good reason to do it, and you know, they're more important. It's well, I think I heard before. It's not about me, right?
Exactly.
Especially when it's some other dude and it's his family. It's like, well, I couldn't
Right.
be there.
Right. Yeah. You want to keep him on ice till I can show up?
Yeah, give me a couple of days. Keep them cold someplace. Selfish and
Right.
self-centered.
Right. Dial up that KFC. See if you can use the walk-in freezer.
Right.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Sick.
Well, but he would have laughed at that.
He would
too, so.
appreciate it. Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
He would have laughed at that. So, but yeah. Anything else? I mean, except for the fact that again, I mean, he's a good dude and we're gonna miss him. I mean,
Yep.
that's really what it comes down to, I suppose, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Like I said, you know, somebody can say half of this shit about me when I'm gone. I did something all right.
Right. Yeah. And seriously, that's all that we can hope for. And you know,
Yep.
it goes back to the stories about what you and I are going to do to each other's remains if we don't die sober. So we don't need to go
Right.
into that again. But
Nah.
yeah, all good things happen if we die sober. That's the best way to put that part.
Mm-hmm. Right.
All right. So yeah, Danny, rest in peace. Right.
Yep.
All right, so I wrote down, and I've got a couple of action things I wrote down from readings, and I haven't looked at this list in, well, shit, we had guests for a few weeks, but I'm just going to read this off. I have no idea what this is. Okay, this is from God Grant Me, and it said, I will list 10 things that I was afraid of, or I'm sorry, yeah, 10 things that I was afraid of during my using days. How do I feel about those fears now? Do I have new fears? And it says, I'll talk to my sponsor about experiences, blah, blah, blah. Experiences with fear and faith. So it's the reason I wrote it down is, you know, obviously, again, talking about things that we feared, you know, while we were still drinking, and do we still fear certain things now and that sort of thing? Is there anything like right off the top of your head that you're like, you know, you were super scared of and you're now not a big deal anymore?
I mean, I don't know, running out of booze.
Yeah, that is the most obvious one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you know, that whole financial insecurity shit. Yeah, you know, there was a lot. I was running on all sorts of fears before. Now, you know, today there's not much that scares me. I mean, I can sit there and dwell on shit that I might worry about a little, but quite frankly, I do have some sort of faith, not in anything particular. Just I know that because I've proven it to myself over and certainly it's been told to us over and over and over again, that, you know, as long as we're doing the next right thing, shit's going to work out. It may not be the way we want it to work out, but it's going to work out. shit's gonna be okay. And I believe that. So I don't really worry about much of anything anymore. Um, I mean, I can, and it's a fucking control thing. If
Right.
it's a reverse control thing, it's lack of control. Ooh, it's not going to work out. Yeah, that's what I would be afraid of. Things not working out the way that I want them to work out. Well, shit's not going to work out the way I want it to work out. It's never going to work out the way I want it to work out. So, what the fuck am I worried about?
Right.
Yeah. So no, I really don't. This program has given me that gift I don't have fears about anything anymore. I really don't.
Right.
Yeah.
And in some of these things, like I said, I literally did not read that before. I just read it out loud,
Mm-hmm.
which is always fun because
Sure.
depending on when I write these things down, there's one thing I wrote down that we talked about when we had Elise on that I just kind of X through, but the fear part of it, and as I'm reading it out loud, I'm like, what the fuck was it? Why did I write this down at the time? I swear to God. I swear to God, I'm like, what was happening that day that I thought that was so
Mm.
fucking poignant?
Mm.
But while you were talking, the only thing that I thought about, and this is a now looking back type
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing, is
Right.
I'm sure I had a fear of being found out,
Mm.
um,
Oh yeah.
found out that I was, and not even with the drinking or whatever, that sort of thing, because I don't know that I was so fucking delusional. I probably didn't. Well, I didn't want people to see me drinking the way I was. So yeah, that was
Mm-hmm.
part of that fear. But I was such a fake at everything that I was doing,
Right.
and trying to do, and all those different things, And I know that now looking back, so I know that I had to have had a fear of that at that point, but probably didn't. I
Sure.
was too stupid to fucking realize it. It's just no better way to put
Right.
that. It's just,
Right. It's fucking delusional.
yeah,
Right.
just brutal honesty. I was too fucking stupid. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but these days, and again with this whole thing that I'm doing, and I quit my job literally, 2 months ago it was 16th of June. So 2 months ago, 2 days ago, when I started doing kind of my own thing that I'm working on right now, was two
Right.
months ago as of tomorrow. And I gave myself a deadline that you know about, and so does Kathy.
Mm-hmm.
Kathy's our
Mm-hmm.
sister. And I
Right.
said, at 2 months, I need to take a fucking look at this and figure out where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so something kind of there's been some good things happening over the last couple of weeks, a week or so.
Mm-hmm.
I still need to sit down and evaluate things, and I'm not going to get into it because it's unimportant for what we're talking about now. But
Mm-hmm.
there's been a more of an anxious feeling with that, but
Mm-hmm.
anxious to the point of the same thing as you just said, though, is that this shit's going to work out. My shit, whatever my shit is, doesn't have to
Mm-hmm.
be the thing I'm trying to do now. It could be anything. I do
Right.
know, and I have that faith that
Right.
whatever it is, it's going to work out, and it will work out the way that it's
Yep.
meant to be, and things will fall
Mm-hmm.
into place, or they fucking won't. To the
Right.
way I want them to. And
Uh-huh.
um, I'm not afraid of it. And I've already
Uh-huh.
accepted me putting and I was talking to somebody else about this, and I don't remember who it was, and it's irrelevant, but I said I needed to put a timeline on here, and I needed to tell two people about it, which means you and Kathy, because I
Right.
needed to be accountable for this shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I'm not just a renegade, and one way or the other, I'm not, foolish with my life and my money and anything like that anymore. But I still,
Mm-hmm.
I needed that accountability.
Right.
Um, and it wasn't. I'm not fearful of it like I was before. I would have been a fucking wreck, but if I was still
Mm-hmm.
drinking. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it just reminded me of that. I didn't want to be found out before, whereas now I just want everyone to, not everyone, but you know what I mean.
Right.
I
Right.
want
Right.
the people that are important to me in my life, the people that matter, that
Mm-hmm.
I need to be accountable to. And now
Right.
I want those people to know exactly what's going on and what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and then to be able to either help me or kick me in the ass and say, okay, this is what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's time for you to make a fucking decision, or
Right.
let's reevaluate this and see where you're at. I need that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it's right. Well, that whole thing of being found out, yeah, it's fucking lonely, man.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah, hiding exactly who you are is yeah, nobody knows except you, and you're trying to fucking kill the fact that you know it.
Right.
Um, with anesthetizing yourself. So right, yeah, it's yeah, we don't have that fear because we're not. Here I am. Look at me.
I'm over
Right.
here shooting my wad
I'm-
into the wind.
exactly.
But yeah, it's just and literally when swear to God, when I was reading that off, I'm like, why the fuck did I even write this down? But just I'm glad I did now because it made me think about that. But that's the
Mhm.
only thing that I really pinpointed. I'm sure I had a ton of fears. I had fears of
Oh yeah.
everything. Because
Right.
I mean, my life was a fucking mess. But I just think the fear of being found out. But I mean, what
Mm-hmm.
a great opportunity now. I love being accountable. And I love
Oh,
placing. I don't know. I love placing spotlights on myself, not in an egotistical way, but saying, please,
right.
please watch me and make sure my
Mm-hmm.
shit's in place.
Yeah.
I like
Right.
that now. It's comforting, which is weird.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, and it's also, again, not alone.
Right.
I have support. I have shoulders to lean on, and I have shoulders that other people can lean on. They can lean on me. I can lean on them. Again, not alone anymore,
Right.
both literally and metaphorically,
Right.
which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. You know what I've heard before? It's a better way to live.
Ah.
Just your fucking reaction. Ah. like a fucking light bulb moment.
Right.
All right, so I have another action item, and I swear to God, I didn't read this one yet either. So let's see if this
All
one's
right.
see if this
Let's
one's
see. Let's see.
let's open the envelope on this motherfucker. Um, Today I will write down a plan of what I will do if I ever feel like giving up. Huh.
Mm.
Whom? Wow, what happened to my voice? Whom
Hmm.
will I call? What are my favorite readings that bring me hope? Where are my places of sanctuary? So let's look at the
Mhm.
first part. I will write down a plan of what I will do if I ever feel like giving up, and then let's start with the first one. Whom will I call? So have you thought about that ever? That if you got the in your head, you like case of the fuck, it's what would you
Ah.
do?
Well, yeah. Call you. Call Chris. Call. Can't call Dan anymore.
Right.
No. Yeah. Right. Call somebody. Pick up that 1,000-pound phone. All that basic shit that they taught us from pretty much day one. Yeah, God, I don't know, man. I giving up hope isn't even in the playbook anymore. I tore that fucking page out and lit it on fire a long
Right.
time ago. Um, yeah, I mean, I certainly have moments like everybody else where things may be getting a little overwhelming or something. But again, it all comes back to that faith that shit's going to work out one way or another. And I don't know. I don't give up hope anymore.
Right.
There's always that borderline hope somewhere in there because that muscle's strong now. I've been working it for fucking 13 years. Yeah, I don't know. Seems kind of silly to me. Why the fuck would I give up hope? Shit's too good.
No, and
That's dumb. Fuck that.
I'm not even thinking about that, man. That's stupid. It's dumb.
That's stupid. Yeah, fuck that shit.
You're dumb.
Who the fuck came up with that? Who wrote that?
Mr. Grantby did.
Ah.
But in the same thing when I think I realized why I wrote that down just because I pretty much figured where both of us were at with that. But
Mm.
yeah, and it's been God, I don't remember the last time that I felt hopeless, about
Mm.
anything.
Right.
That's number one. But
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly. Yeah, I mean, if I have an issue or a problem, I know who to call, and
Sure.
even if you weren't available, because you would always be my first phone call.
Right.
I can always talk to Kathy. I could call. You figure, I mean, how many people in our sober group, of people that we
Right.
know? I
Right.
mean, just any number of those people we could make a phone call
Yeah.
to, men and women that we know.
Yep.
That there's just there would be no reason in the world for us to get to that. Not that we couldn't get to that point, but unless we forgot, and stopped doing what we were doing with again all
Right.
that shit.
Yeah.
There's just
Right.
no
The
reason.
maintenance.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
reason in the world that we've got plenty of people that we can reach out to. But
Yeah.
the other thing that was on here is like you're it's talking about favorite readings or places of sanctuary and stuff like that. So that we've talked about this, and when we talked about like early recovery and stuff like that, and same deal. I mean, if anyone out there is new, and you have to find something, you have to plan for weird shit to happen or weird feelings to happen, and then
Uh-huh.
what are you going to do? And again, my default is if either I can't call somebody or whatever the deal is, you figure
Mhm.
steps 1, 2, and 3 don't work, not the real steps, but whatever your plan is. um,
Right.
I, I mean, usually a lot of times it's at the end of the day you had what you thought was a fucked up day, which is just a series of fucked up moments. If all else
Right.
fails, fuck, go to bed.
Yeah. Right.
and
Yeah.
and usually,
Hit that
again,
reset button.
yeah, 90% of the time, 90% of the time, I will wake up and it's not a big deal anymore.
Exactly.
Or
Yeah.
gratitude list, right? If we start all feeling
Right.
all fucked up, you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, find the shit that you're grateful for because it's always there. Right. I mean, hopeless is kind of not in my vocabulary anymore. Powerless, yeah, all the fucking time,
Right.
but not hopeless. I got hope. Uh, yeah, it's there. Like I said, there's that baseline of hope always. Shit's gonna work out. Again, probably not how I want it to, but that's okay too. It is going to work out because it always does. The sun will come up again tomorrow. Sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar. That's who. Wait, we're gonna have to pay royalties. Hang on.
Can't watch us get out of all the shit we've said. Watch us get fucking sued for you singing a song from Annie.
Yep.
But no, it was funny when you said hopeless wasn't even in your vocabulary. So when I said that, just a couple of minutes ago, when I said that I can't remember the last time I felt hopeless, and I'm just like, that almost made me feel uncomfortable to think about it. I'm like, why? I what the fuck is hopeless anymore?
Right.
Um,
It's not.
Right, and it's just weird that you said that. And I'm like, shit, that's what I literally just felt a minute ago. What the fuck? What is that word? What does that
Right.
mean?
Right. Yeah. Without hope.
Right,
Yeah, hopeless, none whatsoever, and it's not there. There's always a little glimmer of it somewhere.
right.
Yeah, I just got to look for it, but it's there. Yeah, always. Kind
Well,
of cool.
yeah, and I mean that's the thing again for anyone that's new. I mean, we're not making light. If people are having these bad these bad moments.
Right.
Fuck me, these
Right.
bad moments.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're trying to convey here is that thankfully, over 13 plus years and a lot of fucking work and
Mm-hmm.
determination and all those different things and repetitive things and continuing to
Mm-hmm.
do the next right thing every single day. Um, we are to a point where it just seems ridiculous for us,
Yeah.
to feel hopeless. Not for anyone else. We're not trying to take away from anyone else's,
Right.
situation. But if you're listening and you're new, take this as throw that in your little hope basket. you
Mm-hmm.
know, you will get to a point if you keep doing these things where you're gonna laugh
Yeah.
at the fucking word hopeless. You're like, what is that?
What is? Yeah. Right. But like you said, it takes work to get there, but
Right.
if you do the work, you get there.
Yep.
Yep.
It's it's a beautiful thing. One way or the other. Like I said before, it's a better way to live, right?
It is.
But I don't know. I feel every once in a while we're talking about that shit. I'm like, I just want to explain because we do have newer listeners. I think every once in a while.
Right.
And, what the fuck are these dudes talking about? They don't know what hopeless means.
I don't.
No, I know. But think that was the last little action item on here. So I did have I had a note on here about talking about resentments because it's something that I don't think we've talked about for a long time, but I,
Mm-hmm.
I've been I've been hearing it on, or I'm sorry, no, it was in Back to Readings. I have a note on
Mm-hmm.
here. It was a big focus on a lot of the readings in the book A Day at a Time. And I don't, do you read that one? No, you read Keep It
I
Simple.
don't.
Okay. So there was a series of it almost over a week where they were talking about, the 24-hour book does it. God Grant Me does it. They'll have these readings
Mm-hmm.
that build on a particular subject,
Sure.
and resentments were. And I don't remember, for the life of me, I don't remember what they were talking about. But again, the focus was that. It was just funny because again, I forgot that I wrote that down on here, but I literally just wrote and posted an article about resentments today. So the main thing with resentments, as we've heard it, and I took the quote right out of I looked it up right out of the big book that
Mm-hmm.
resentments are the number one killer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that we were told. It's in that, it's in the big book, and it said it's the biggest killer of alcoholics out of
Alcoholics.
anything.
Yep. Yep.
And so in your opinion, or based on your experience, Mike, why would that be?
Uh-huh. Oof. Again, comes back to control issues. Yeah, the only reason I'm going to resent something is because it's not working out the way I want it to work out. It's not doing what I want it to do. Um, and I again don't have resentments anymore because I'm powerless, man. People are going to do things that are going to piss me off, but so what? I can sit there and dwell on it, and it will become a resentment. I will resent the way you're acting towards me, or or I could go, yeah, you're acting like an asshole. Guess what? You're an asshole. Oh well, got nothing to do with me.
Right.
Why would I resent? I, again, the same with the hopeless. I don't really have resentments anymore. I just don't. Again, it comes to the powerless. I'm powerless over people, places, and things. If I can't control them, how am I going to resent what things are doing? People and places, and I have no power. So why would I resent it? It is what it is, and I move along. Yeah, I have no resentments today.
Right. Well, and the other thing that we were told very early on, it's I'm a visual person, so all these little
Mm-hmm.
things, like this that we were told, made a lot of sense to me, and literally, I mean, obviously, you could tell, stuck with me. But the concept that we were told of is, if you were holding on to a scalding hot rock and expecting
Mm-hmm.
somebody else to feel the pain,
Right.
that's what a resentment is, or the
Mm-hmm.
concept of what a resentment is, because
Sure.
most of the time people have no idea that you're pissed off at them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
because you're not going to walk up to them and go, pardon me, sir, I have a resentment against you. That just doesn't happen.
Right.
Maybe somebody knows you're bad at them, but maybe they don't know why, or whatever the case is. But the reason that it can be, the number one killer for, folks like us is that, when you get something like that, you're pissed off at somebody and then you just let it fester and you keep letting it, roll around, and it just festers and it grows. And sooner or later, it's going to happen. You're going to be like, fuck it. I'm super
Yeah.
uncomfortable. I can't handle this anymore. And then, Mike, what do we do when we can't handle things anymore?
We drink.
Right. Or we take drugs
Yes, we do.
because they make us feel better for 20 minutes.
That's right.
And then we fuck everything else up in our lives. So,
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
No, I don't resent anybody.
right.
People are assholes and let them be. Nothing I can do about it. Just move along, man. Don't have them around me anymore.
Right.
Why would I want someone in my life that's making me feel like shit? I don't.
Right.
And I don't allow that in my life anymore. Boundaries, man. If I have boundaries, why would I need resentments?
Right. Yeah, and I mean, let's even take the example, because if somebody's like, "Well, I work with this person that," okay, so,
Mm,
or if you have to be around, there's a family member that you have to be around all the time that you
mm,
that you don't like, or that that you see as acting a certain way, and um, whatever it is,
right.
so you can also choose not to be around people like you just mentioned,
Yes, you
or
can.
you can just temper yourself and be like, okay, that's his or her fucking deal.
Hmm.
I'm gonna mind my own business. When I'm around
Right.
that person,
Yeah.
you don't even if you
There's nothing I can do about it.
yeah.
Certainly not going to change them.
Right. And
Right.
even if you have to be in the same vicinity with them because you work with them or something like that, you do not have to entertain that person's
No.
whatever.
Yeah.
Let's get involved in it.
Bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit. You don't have to get
Yep.
involved in
I do not. And I don't.
it. I do not, and I don't, because you know why? Because
That's
it's
right.
because it's dumb. It's stupid.
It's dumb and it's also dangerous to me.
Right.
And I kind of value myself today,
Right.
thankfully.
Right.
Yeah, right. Why would I want to fucking make my life worse?
Right.
I've done that. That doesn't work very well.
Yeah, but the last thing I'll say about that is that you mentioned the people, places, and things, which I mean that's something that I had to, and I made that part of my prayers
Hmm.
years ago, and it was part of my prayers when we were still doing the Kylie mile, walking back and forth. So I mean that was really fucking
Hmm.
early, and
Right.
in my morning prayers and then my nightly prayers, and still to this day, I always say people, places, and things, you can't control them. And I
Hmm.
started saying that, literally like almost like punching myself in the face with the words,
Well, yeah.
going, you people, places, and things, you
Not almost.
yeah.
Exactly like
But
that.
I mean, yeah, it was more of a just, you dumb motherfucker. You can't control
Yep.
these things.
Yep.
But however many days, 4,000, I don't know how many days we've been sober. It's a long fucking time.
Hmm.
For a lot of fucking days, I've said that twice a day for a hell lot of days. And
Yep.
I focus on that every time, and I don't take it lightly, because I still have to I still have to remind myself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, it's part of the maintenance, man.
Right.
Yeah, right. Doing it yesterday is not going to do it today. Yeah, I have to exactly tell myself I have no fucking power. The only power I have, the only thing I can do is control my reaction to things.
Right.
That's it.
Hmm.
That's it. And I have to exactly remind myself of that every day, because I'll forget. Oh, wait, no, I can control other things. No, I fucking can't.
Every once in a while, I just have to laugh at this. That again, we're not the smartest guys in the room, but we have some
Mm.
intelligence. But we're
Hmm.
in our mid 50s, and we have to be like, you can't control that. We have to tell ourselves
Right.
like we're talking to like I'm talking to my grandson who's like 17 months old.
Hmm.
Now, you can't touch
Right.
that. He doesn't know any better. He just keeps touching it.
Right.
And I got to tell myself I'm fucking 54 years old. And you can't
That's right.
control that.
Don't eat the dirt.
Right. Don't put your finger in there. Hello. Hey, don't put that in your mouth.
Right. You don't know where it's been.
Exactly. You remember when you asked if it was still today for you? It's not. Well, it is today, but not the
It,
same. It's not the same today.
it's a different day.
It's a different
It's
today.
now tomorrow.
Yeah, and you know what? After sticking things in our moughs or that sort of thing, I think we're fucking done. I think we're done.
I think so.
So, all right, man, run us out of here.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, do something nice for somebody else this week, and don't tell anybody that you did it. And now it is that time. It is, oh God, is it that time? It is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over the gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
I loved it. Now, yeah, it's really that time now.
It is.
I know.
You have to fuck off now, please. I've got to go to bed.
Yeah, and I got a couple hours worth of work ahead of me. So, but here's the good part. Like I said, when you had called me earlier, I'm like, I got nothing to fucking do tomorrow. So,
Right.
I don't think whatever. A little bit. I'll get the same amount of sleep. I just whether I'll sleep later or don't, or I usually get up. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter because you know what? Where else? I couldn't do it again. I was gonna say it's all about the listener.
It's all about you, people.
Yeah, it's all about you. All right, fuck it. Again, I said we're done. We're done. I love you, brother.
We're done. I love you too.
All right, we'll talk soon. Bye.
We will. Bye.
As always, thank you for listening to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. To access all of our content and interact with us, please visit our website, SoberNotMature.com. Thank you again for listening, and we will talk to you soon.